Thanks to its rich and diverse history, the neighborhood of Bloomingdale was recently designated as historic. The initial development of Bloomingdale began in 1800. For years, the neighborhood was known as a predominantly white, high-income area. Racially based housing restrictions ensured the neighborhood could maintain its white image. The restrictions prevented blacks, Mexicans, Native Americans, Jewish people, and more from settling in the neighborhood. After a 40-year battle, racial covenants began to expire in the 1940s following World War II. The covenants were officially struck down by the Supreme Court in 1948. The neighborhood transitioned to a predominantly black area and has suffered from a lack of federal and local government funds. Bertha Holliday is a neighborhood advocate who has lived in Bloomingdale for almost 30 years.
A lot of the past problems of the neighborhood were not really created by the neighborhood, but by federal and district policies.
Maggie Downing, a recent Georgetown grad, moved to Bloomingdale last September. Downing said she mostly only talks to the people in her apartment building and doesn't know much about the wider community. Holliday says the influx of white, wealthier residents have made many longtime black Bloomingdale residents feel they've lost control of public spaces. Holliday describes a black resident who has organized a block party for decades.
So for her, it was like she no longer had a role in the neighborhood, and one of the longest traditions of that neighborhood had died.
After many black families moved away, she found new white residents were uninterested in participating.
Be surprised if she tries to do it again. And she's been organizing that block party for 20 or 30 years.
Journey Harris, a sophomore at Howard University near Bloomingdale, says rocketing housing prices are also a concern.
A lot of the residents that used to live there no longer live there. The houses are extremely expensive. Like, this place is probably going for like $1 million right now, and he bought it for dirt cheap like 30 years ago.
Gabriel Schneider, a longtime Bloomingdale resident, said gentrification in the area is out of control.
So even I feel sort of like I don't belong in the neighborhood anymore.
In the past, Bloomingdale residents played a huge role in outlawing racial housing restrictions. If they can do that, Holliday says they can take on gentrification too.
So the idea is that if people can intentionally attempt to create a segregated neighborhood, we could intentionally seek to create a stable, multiracial, multicultural neighborhood.